Hello. This is a general tutorial for how to use my templates. And I'm just going to be going over the life template for right now. So we are at the life template. And I'll first tell you what Notion is. So Notion is kind of this super free form, super flexible, both note-taking and like wiki, wiki means like information database, essentially. And it has almost unlimited features and the ability for you to mold it to do mostly whatever you want. It takes a while to figure out how to do that, and that's the downside of Notion, is that it's so flexible and has so many options that it takes a while to fully grasp them, meaning the full potential of Notion is kind of not seen for a while into using it. Hopefully these templates can give you a lot of the benefits of really knowing Notion as I do without needing to fully understand it. So let's get into it. And another thing is Notion is good for storing information, for like drafting really quick notes, for seeing patterns, for connecting things, etc. But it's not, the things that it can't do specifically are drafting. So like actual writing you want to do on Google Docs. What's great is you can just link any Google Doc to Notion, so you can kind of organize those docs on Notion. But actual commenting, editing, suggesting, formatting, etc. is not Notion's strong suit. It's not what it's made to do. So what I do is I usually organize the information in links on Notion, and then we'll just have like Google Docs for any writing, as well as any photos, etc. Although you can embed photos in Notion. Okay, cool. So this is the life home, and how my templates work is I have templates for everything that I could think of thus far. I'll probably think of more things to add. And they're all these individual pages that have daily notes, that have careers-related material. So for example, organizing information about jobs, organizing information about organizations you're interested in, people, so keeping track of professional connections or personal connections, when's the last time you talked to them, etc. Meal planning, habit tracking, etc. You can read all of these. And within each of these, for the most part, unless they're very self-explanatory, I have a short little description of what it's meant to do. And then there will be a link. I haven't actually made any of these more in-depth tutorial videos, but you'll be able to have, when I'm done, a link to these tutorial videos right here. And that will give you a much more in-depth overview of what this page is. And so you'll see that that exists on each of these pages. Up here, I'll say what's new, so you can keep up to date with any of the updates I've put in. And I'll say if I've added new pages or if I've updated pages. And I'll say generally what the update was. I'm not going to get too into detail. If you at any point want to comment on something, say this is a shitty part, this needs updating, here's how I changed it to better fit me. That's something I'm super interested in, is how are you tailoring this to suit your own needs. You can comment by highlighting. If it's page, you can't highlight, but you can click these dots, and JK, you can't comment on that. But if you go into this, there are like things that you can comment on. So you can comment here, and it'll give you the option to comment. And you can say, this is what I did. I think this should change, etc. Or you can message me on Facebook or email me your ideas. I don't check my Minerva email anymore, but it will get automatically forwarded to my email. So just do my Minerva email, in other words. Okay, so I'm just going to go over quickly what this is. So your life home is where you keep track of anything having to do with your life. which is to say not necessarily professional. You can track professional tasks, but it's more likely that you'll have professional tasks if you're working on a team database or something like that. If your team uses Notion, even better, and convince everyone to do it. Notion should hire me to do sales, but it's fine. And so it's like different research projects. I've separated this into 4 general categories: things that I'm continuously working on, continuously updating, and things that have to do with learning and education, or random projects, things that are important, so budgeting, traveling, and important documents such as like information about your insurance or about your passport, etc. I upload a PDF image of my passport here, so I would have a link to a PDF here. I would note down my insurance number. I would put any info about visas in here. And you can add a new visa. Oh, I hope this doesn't have my personal info. I don't think so. Okay, cool. This, I think, is automatically like this for Minerva students so that they can already have that info, etc. This doesn't need much explanation. So yeah, it's good for storing information, and there are 2 main things that Notion can do. It can have just kind of like blocks of text or pages where you can put text in different types of text. So this is a call out block. Everything is a block. This is a block. This is a block. This thing is a block. Everything's a block. And so you can have text, or you can have something called a database. And so we'll look at what a database is. And databases are tables, but they're not tables the way that we're used to them. So each row is a page in itself, and you have properties of that page. You'll see that this action tracker has a shit ton of properties, and in the video tutorial for the template daily notes more complex version, you'll know why, but it's kind of absurd. I usually never use this information down here. I just track information up here. And basically, a page on a table has all of these properties and space for you to write so that you can sort information, filter information, hide or show information. So for example, I have today's work, and it's filtered right now to show everything before today, but if we go is today, okay, no, actually we're going to do that because I don't have anything specific. So this will show me all of the actions that I have to do before today. It can also calculate numbers. So this is hours left, and this updates based off of the status. The status automatically maps to percentage progress, etc. Again, I'll get more into depth in the video tutorial. But basically, this is what a table is. You can also view the same data, the same pages in different forms. So you can sort them by area, you can sort them by on the calendar, etc. And what's really cool about Notion is that you can then link to this database somewhere else and have a specific filter. So for example, up here, every day I make a new card, and I have a template for like quick check-ins at the beginning of the day, and I can then link to the master database. I can also link to other databases in here that I want to fill out every day. So every day I want to put in which expenses I had. Every day I want to fill out my habits. Okay, I actually do this thing, but it's something you can include. And what's also cool about databases is that they can relate to other things. So this page on this database is relating to a parent project on the master action template. And that means that you can have every card can relate to different cards or pages within that database. So you can signify that this is a subtask of the parent task, which is capstone. You can also relate it to people, to job applications, to flights, to any of the things that any of other databases that you have. And so what that does is I'm tempted to compare it to Roam, which if you use Roam, you'll know that it actually isn't the same thing, but it adds a level of connectivity that you can easily get from any related information and relate that information by database. This is why I use databases most of the time over text. Why most of these things will just be databases, so that you can connect each thing to other databases and kind of always keep track of what information is related to what other information. So the daily notes, if you use the more complex version, and this is kind of the last thing, one of the last things that I'll talk about is the home that I use most concretely. The master action tracker is like, it tracks every single thing that I need to do. It is extremely in-depth, as you saw with like the 8 billion properties. That's probably overkill. For me, I love it. I usually am not looking at all of those. There are like 20 extra properties beyond this, but I only need to look at some of them. A lot of them automatically fill in based on, for example, the status and importance and hours. Once you put in those 3 bits of information and are updating those, essentially everything else just automatically fills in. And like parent projects, like if you have subtext of parent projects, and those are kind of the only things that you need to do, and dates. Okay. There are always more things. But what's great about this is it just connects to everything else within the template. So you saw those relational arrows. It relates to online courses. It relates to pet projects that I have. It relates to habit tracking. It relates to people. It relates to jobs. It relates to everything, so that I mostly spend my time in that one master database, and I'm tracking my actions that way. And so that's kind of where the heart of this is, and watching the tutorial video, that would be very useful because it's pretty complex. And the last thing that I'll say is you can change anything, and that's kind of the scary part of Notion. But you can go in, you can move these blocks elsewhere, you can change what they say, you can change their color, you can add a new database, you can take away properties in a database, you can add properties in a database, you can change the formatting of a database. Really, you can do anything, and so I would encourage you to recognize where the issues are. And if you have a specific question about how you can update it to achieve a certain thing, chances are I know how to do it. I kind of dedicate my life to Notion in a very weird way, and love taking on new challenges. Thus far, this is nothing that I haven't been able to accomplish that somebody has asked me about. So if you want to do that, and specifically if you want to have like a one-on-one session where we customize it for yourself, you can go to my Buy Me a Coffee page and sign up for that. And it would be paid because my time is worth more money now that I'm not a student. And if you have any comments, leave a comment. And if you have any comments on what this YouTube video should include, if it should include something that I left out, or if it should leave something out that I left in, let me know. I'm probably just going to be remaking these videos over and over because things are changing constantly. Okay, hope that was not too boring. Bye.